Hey everybody, this is David Evans here. This is a Friday night episode of I Am Coaching. Now, typically on a Friday evening at about 10 o'clock at night, I'm not usually here answering questions, but we got so many questions with this topic that I just made sure that I had to get in here and record an episode so you can get help with this new update. Now, most of you, this is the first time that you have seen my whiteboard. Now, I have the system set up now where I can go from this whiteboard into my computer, show my screen, maybe even do a live webcam, all at the same time just by changing audio sources and sitting in front of my computer. So I'm really happy about this new update that I'm able to do this for you because it's going to really help you see some of the things, and I can outline it a little bit better and do some really cute little drawings for you to really help the coaching side of it. Now, what happened? I don't know about you, but this week has been crazy. 2 major updates, sites going crazy, the forums going wild, people yelling and screaming, Matt Cutts getting out there and talking about it. What happened? I don't know about you, but I want to find out about it because it really changed a couple things. So the first thing that we saw is we saw some cute little guys popping out all over the forums. We saw penguins everywhere. Now, typically Google does not like to name its algorithm updates. It's one of those things where they don't want to brand a bad thing. So they always say, oh, this is just an on-page optimization filter that we're applying, very obsolete or very under the table. But when it usually takes a hit like it does, Google usually comes out and say, wait a minute here, this is the actual name. Typically they name it after certain programmers. For Panda, for example, was the last name of one of their programmers, where if you remember, it actually started out as Farmer and Google said, wait a minute, it's actually Panda. Same thing with Penguin. They stepped in and said, wait a minute here, it's Penguin. I think they were trying to pick a nice cozy little animal that's kind of non-confrontational just to die down the conversation here a little bit, because Penguin is not cute and cuddly. At least the algorithm thing is not. So when it happened about April 24th, just a couple days ago, Google released a filter to their algorithm. Now sometimes Google will step in like Panda and redo the algorithm, change things. But with the Penguin update, it's a filter on top of it. Think about it as a sifting filter. Yes, you have the algorithm that allows websites through, it hits a filter, this is Penguin, and filters out some junk. This is what Penguin did. Now, Penguin at its source is a spamming filter. Typically when you think of spamming, you automatically think black hat techniques, backlinking, social media spam, all of that. That's not the case. With this algorithm, with a Google Penguin filter, this is on-page spamming. Now, think about that, on-page spamming. What can on-page spamming be? Well, the main things used to be cloaking. You could go in there and cloak things where you would have text, white text on white background. You would hide text, keyword stuff, your Google meta tags. On the bottom of your page, you would list thousands of keywords. Well, obviously Google has updated its algorithm since then. It's a lot more complex, a lot more advanced. So how do we spam, or how do people, rephrase that, how do people spam Google? Think about on-page copy. How about keyword density, where you're going in there, okay, I need 7.9% keyword density for this page because my competitor has 7.9% keyword density. That's what we used to think. That's what we used to aim for. What about proximity? Oh, every 10 words I have to have some form of my keyword in that. Or, okay, I got to include, if my keyword is widgets, some people misspell widget, so it's W-I-D-D-E-T-S or W-I-D-G-E-T, or plural, singular. Well, Google's smarter than that. If they see multiple forms of the same keyword, that's not normal. If I'm talking about blue widgets, I'm going to talk about blue widgets. I'm not going to talk about blue widgets or blue widget. I'm going to talk about it in its current form. So when Google picks up on those little bitty references, it knows, wait a minute here, someone's trying to game the system. And that's what this is all about. On-page over-optimization. Penguin, think about it. Penguin on-page. So, rolled out April 24th. How can I tell if my site has been hit? That's what I typically hear. Because when they rolled this out, they said it was only about 3.1% of all English search terms were affected. 3.1. Now, I don't know about you, but 3.1 doesn't sound that big. but there's been an awful lot of screaming and yelling for only 3.1%. So what made it so big to some people? Well, it all had to do with big niches. When Google is specifically targeting black hat techniques, where do you think it's going to affect? It's going to hit the big niches. Keywords like weight loss, keywords like make money at home, startup businesses, B2B stuff. The big one that I really was tracking, and I do this occasionally, I apologize for this niche, but it really applies to this, is the keyword Viagra. Viagra really changed. Right now, if I was at my computer, I'd show you, but you can do the search yourself. Go in and type Viagra, make sure you're signed out. And right now, the second listing in Google is the site that has about 10 pages of copy, no backlinks, and 0 social signals. So everything that Google has told us that we're supposed to do, quality content, social signals, usability of the website, no ads on your site, all of that. Number 2 for the keyword Viagra, one of the biggest niches online, is someone that has no authority. Also on the first page of Google is 3.edu sites. Sites like University of Indiana, which is local to me, University of Kentucky, which is also local to me, and another .edu. None of those sites, those 3 sites, have any keywords on them dealing with the Viagra niche, not even any of the sexual keywords. So all it has to do with, they think this site now, these EDU sites, should show up for the keyword Viagra. It doesn't make sense. Also on the first page of Google is 2 sites that underneath the URL it says this site may harm your computer. They've been hacked. So, big keyword, multi-billion-dollar industry, Viagra, now has 2 sites that have been hacked, one that has no authority, that's number 2, that's an affiliate site nonetheless, and 3.edu's, a video site and a news article site. Now, I don't know about you, but if I type in the keyword Viagra, I really don't need to see a Wikipedia article on how it works. One of the links on there is how stuff works. If you need to figure out how stuff works with Viagra, you got a problem. But that's what Google is displaying right now, and it's really affecting this. This hit the biggest niches. Weight loss, you're going to see Wikipedia on weight loss. I don't need to read a Wikipedia article on weight loss. I want to find out techniques, tips. I want to find out how someone lost weight, not about a Wikipedia article on when this weight loss was founded or something like that. So it affected the biggest niches. That's why there's such an outcry right now. People are screaming because it's hitting their pocketbooks, because the black hatters, the big marketers, are losing money on it. So how can I tell if my site was hit? Now, if you remember, I said April 24th was when it was rolled out. Because it's a filter, it's not going to take long for it to go across the web. If it's an algorithmic update, sometimes they roll it slowly across the server farms and etc. Well, with a filter, it goes in place, hits everybody almost instantaneously. So April 24th is your time frame to look at this. Now, how can I, and I think I got a marker here, how can I tell if my site has taken a severe hit? First thing I want to look at is analytics. So you're going to run into your account and log into analytics and look at April 24th. Now, what I want to do is establish a baseline pre-Penguin update. So I'm going to go in my analytics, select my time frame of everything before April 24th or 30 days before April 24th, maybe March 24th to April 24th. And I want to get a baseline. How many visitors per day from Google Organic only? I don't care about Yahoo. I don't care about referral sites. I don't care about paid traffic sources. I only want Google Organic because it's Google Update. Analytics 24th back. If you see that you have an average of 100 visitors a day pre-Penguin and only have 50 afterwards, now you have a problem. You can say, wait a minute here, I'm guessing that I probably got hit by Penguin. Also, if you haven't seen any traffic decline or very little, maybe a 5 to 10% decline, sometimes that can be just the trends that are going on, I want you to log into Webmaster Tools. Inside of Webmaster Tools, there's a key metric in there that you need to be monitoring weekly anyway, if not more often, and that is impressions. Typically when we're building a site, it's hard to see traffic increase, but you'll see changes in impressions. Impressions is people had the opportunity to click on your site. You showed up someplace where they were searching. That's a good thing. Now you may not get the click. If you're number 7 or 8, you're not going to get near the amount of clicks as if you're a 1 or 2, but you're going to get the same amount of impressions or very close. So if I look at my Webmaster Tools and see that my impressions tanked, I know I lost a lot of space or a lot of positions in Google. Now, if I was number 9 and moved to 12, there's not that big of a difference, but my impressions disappeared. Now, the problem with Webmaster Tools, it runs on about a 3-day lag period. So 24th, it's now the 27th. It's just giving us data for this. So over the next couple of days, that's going to be key for you to really find out if your site was hit by the Google Penguin update. Always monitor these two. You need to be monitoring them daily or weekly at a minimum because it tells you which direction your site is going. If you see your impressions increasing month over month or week over week, you know you're doing a good job. If they're going down, you got a problem. You really don't need to be monitoring your positions as much as Webmaster Tools because you can log in there, find how my impressions are per keyword, and that'll tell you a lot based off it. Now, how do I recover? That's the biggest question that's out there right now. I'm seeing SEOs all over the place talk about, well, you need to have high authority backlinks from places like Best of the Web or DMOZ or things like that. I've seen sites listed on the Best of the Web and DMOZ that got slapped. I've seen sites with 0 backlinks that got slapped. There's a lot of people out there yelling about this, but they don't really know. And typically what happens in the forums in all of this area, they build a site, they try this new technique, they get slapped, there's a new update in Google, they find a new technique, they get slapped, and it's this continuous circle back and forth of trying this new product, cheating the algorithm, getting some traffic, losing the traffic. We don't want that. We want to have a nice quality site that's going to be there for the long term. That's what we're building. We're building an empire, not an overnight success. So how do I absolutely recover? The first thing that you got to remember is it's Google Penguin. It's a filter. It's an on-page filter. This means copy on your site. So what you're going to have to do is go through your site and see if you have any pages that are very, very similar. Maybe you have one on how to make wedding cakes, and you have a page how to make a wedding cake. Well, those two pages are very, very similar. Think about combining them and redirecting one to the other page. Maybe you have 10 pages on a specific niche. Maybe you need to combine it to 1 or 2 pages. Maybe you have pages that weren't visited in the last 30 days. Kill them. Get rid of them. Doesn't matter how many good pages you have. If you have 5 pages that are bad, it's going to pull your entire site down. Read your site. Stand up, print it out, read it to somebody. If they go, huh, that doesn't make sense, redo the copy. It needs to be normal English. If you're talking about blue widgets, you're not going to misspell it because, oh, I think I can get extra traffic. I put W-I-D-D-E-T-S instead of W-I-D-G-E-T-S. You know, okay, I got to include 10 singular and 5 plural because the singular is searched more. No, Google doesn't care about that. Remember what I said about the Viagra niche? 3 sites on the first page of Google without the keyword Viagra on it at all. It's copy that's relevant to what the user is looking for. Key point there. It's copy that's relevant. It doesn't have to have the keyword on it as much. It just has to be relevant. If someone lands on that page, they want to read about it. So if they type in new shoes, are they looking for the CD track with the new band, new shoes, or are they looking for a Nike brand of running shoes? That's the topic that's going on right now, and you have to make sure your website applies to that because it's going to matter. Go through your site, clean it up top to bottom. Google Panda was dealing with off-site issues, usability issues, inbound links, oversaturation of inbound links, link farms, link spamming, all of that. That was Panda. This is dealing with on-page of over-optimization. Now, help from Google. Typically, when Google issues a new algorithm, and this is kind of important, so pay attention here. When Google issues a new algorithm, there's usually a reconsiderization request. A lot of people a couple weeks ago got an email from Google saying, hey, you're using bad linking technique. Clean it up. If you clean it up, here's a link for a reconsideration. Now, with Google Penguin, they didn't do this. Think about it. Here's the reason why. Penguin is a filter. It's automated. There's not some person reviewing your site, where with Panda, there was a lot of hand reviewing going on and penalties based off of hand reviews. Well, if you push in a reconsideration request, there we go, no Z. Reconsideration request, Google would then say, okay, this domain, that person reviewed it, let's take a look at it again. Well, this is automated, it's not going to matter. It's just a filter. There's no way that they can go in and unfilter just your site. So there is no reconsideration. Now, there is a form out there that if you felt like you've been violated or somehow hurt by this Google Penguin update, you can submit a sob story to Google and they will probably put it in a back server someplace and never read it. That's the only thing there. So there's really not that big of help right now from Google for the Penguin update. Now, when you're looking at this and say, okay, my site was hit, when was it hit? If it was hit pre-April 24th, April 23rd, 22nd, in that area, Google Panda 3.5 was rolling out. So pay attention to that. If your site started declining before April 24th, then you've got a Panda problem, an off-site problem, or a major black hat problem, or a link building problem, or an on-page linking problem probably. There's a couple other things that can be with that too. So pay attention to that. You could have possibly been hit by Google 3.5. Now, if you've been paying attention here, Google is trying to weed out all the bad. So they're penalizing bad technique. Now, if you're evil at heart, you're thinking already, well, if it hurts me, if I do X to my competitor, will it hurt them? This is always a problem with Google. Google tries to do algorithmic updates that affect a tactic, not just the site. So if you use bad links or if you use massive spam links, Google doesn't hit the site. It says, let's devalue these links. Think about it. If I have 10 million links to my site, Google doesn't want to just penalize the site. It wants to penalize that linking tactic. That way it affects across the board and not just handpick certain problems. Right now, the algorithm is being fine-tuned. So links with foul language in it, maybe pornography, things like that are having a negative impact on people's listings right now. So there's some people out there saying maybe right now you could hit your competitor with some bad strategy and take them out. It may be a possibility right now. Don't bank on it. My whole philosophy, what goes around comes around. If you try to take your competitor out, most likely you're going to get taken out too. So stay away from that. But Google is fighting this problem right now because people are getting penalized by doing certain things. Logic says if I get penalized for doing it, I can penalize somebody else for doing the exact same thing. Now, what about the effects to business? This is important. It always comes down to the dollar. How is this going to affect my business? If you think about this whole change that's going on with Panda and Penguin, it's really getting down to brand. Now, what was nice about the internet marketing in the Wild Wild West days is we could go up and compete against the Walmarts, the Amazons, Google itself. We could go up and compete against them. I didn't have to have a big brand. All I needed was a computer, an affiliate offer, and I could win. Well, now Google is building it around the brand. How big is your audience? How big of a say do you have in your marketplace? Are you the expert in your marketplace or not? Well, the problem with that is it's really hard to break into a business if I have to compete on the branding elements. Think about this in the old marketing tactics of a brick and mortar store. Well, if I have a Jiffy Lube across the street and I come out with Joe's Oil Changes, I'm going to have a hard time competing against the national brand. They have national dollars, they've got bigger ad budgets, and I've got to see if my store can compete against that. Well, on Google, it's the same thing. I have to now compete against the conglomerates, the big businesses out there. So my brand has to be big also. There's no way to cheat a brand. I can't build a Nike-sized brand on a small-time budget. It has to be big. So Google is kind of weeding out the opportunities in this also, and it is affecting businesses. So you have to have a better strategy in place, a long-term strategy, and plan ahead with some of this to really take effect of internet marketing. I don't want to discourage people. It still can happen. You still can make money online. It's just you have to plan it a little bit differently than just throwing up an affiliate offer and making money off it today. So this is the Google Penguin update. If you have any questions, please, at the bottom of this video, leave your questions and I'll address it. As always, please ask your questions through the backend membership site. Call the phone number, send me an email at david@iamcoaching.org. I want to answer your questions. I know this is a hot topic and I haven't covered very much of it all tonight, but thank you so much for listening and see you next time. Thank you.